In this module, the first one for our 510 class, we're going to be looking at how distance learning has worked historically, which is to say, not super well. There are some things that can be learned with just copious readings, and if you don't understand something, you can go back and read it again, read it several times, whatever, refer back to it, and then a short answer or a multiple choice type assessment at the end to judge the reading. Mail it back in. You can have some response, but modern tools have changed that dynamic. Modern distance learning is a much different cat altogether. During the 40s, which is really when correspondence courses and the model of distance learning and what most people think of as distance learning came about, many GIs took advantage of it. And it was pretty straightforward. Read through the packet, fill out the worksheets, send it back, wait for the next chunk of information to come to you, read through it, maybe read it a couple times, fill it out, send it back, whatever, until you finish the program. If we think in the context of the time period, though, most of the jobs that these GIs were working for were still factory model jobs. So being able to just show that kind of dogged determination to keep going through it and that motivation to keep doing the distance courses over time, that was pretty much what was needed to move up the ranks in the factory and get a promotion. Not really high critical thinking, creative jobs would be benefited from this. But there's my dog. But just being able to show that you were management material. Now, over time, technologies have evolved, allowing different techniques for the delivery of content, but distance education has followed that same basic pattern of the correspondence course. And even looking back before World War II, it was still pretty much the same basic premise. There was a chunk of knowledge that was delivered to the learner. They'd go over it, and then some kind of written response would be sent back to the knowledge provider. That was pretty much it. As you go through the readings for this module, be thinking about how the medium has shaped the lessons. Distance learning has historically been a very solitary activity. It's also taken a considerable length of the time for the learner to get feedback, if nothing else because they were using snail mail until recently. And even after that, with some changes with the advance of the internet and stuff, mail got faster, but it was still fill in the little packets, send it in to the instructor or whoever, and get nameless feedback a couple weeks later, probably. So, and the feedback that the learner would get would be very, based on lower level thinking skills and lower level thinking assignments. Not a lot of creativity would go into them. So, and in all fairness, using those kind of constraints, there's not a lot that can be done if you look at the tools that were available in even the 1970s and 80s. It was still, it had to fit in an envelope, maybe one of those big brown envelopes, but that was about it. So there's not a lot of room for content creation and imagination and collaboration, the things we think of today for learning and showing mastery of skills and stuff. So, last thing. The readings are all PDFs, so you can read them on your screen. You can download them and add them to your iPad in your iTunes library. You can download them, put them on your Kindle, read them wherever you want. I hope that helps. I'd like some feedback on whether you'd prefer that or a link to the library resource or something. Okay? So keep in mind how little distance learning changed over the first, say, 100 years, and how much the media controlled the message. All right, that's it for now.